I have to get back on Clubhouse more. I'm there once a week, every Wednesday with the women in real estate. So how to raise money without asking for it. Oh, I do this all the time. So how do you raise money without asking for it? So before I go into that, Jerry and Gonzalo and the team were very, very gracious and said a lot about me. So a little bit more about me. I have an awesome husband named Jason. He is amazing and he's all mine. You can't have him. I have 3 amazing kids and a bulldog. I lead with aloha. I live with aloha, and aloha is my motto. I wake up with aloha. If you want, I have a PDF all about it, how you can wake up with aloha and wake up with so much energy in your life and just kill every day just with so much energy and so much love and so much just like all the aloha, all of it. So we're general partners on over 1,100 units in Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Arkansas, and Texas. And I am a host of a podcast called Multifamily Live. So please join me there if you can. So how to raise money without asking for it. Couple things: be Oscar Wilde and not Eminem. Removing imposter syndrome. Be Yoda. I promise you this will all make sense in a little bit. It's not about the money. I'm going to repeat that again because I'm going to drill this into you today. It is not about the money. And leading with aloha. So me, you need a syndicator raising money. And that's me. And that's a lot of you here. So me, I'm a badass mom in multifamily, and I'm a syndicator. Eminem, he is not a syndicator. He is not who you want to be. He is too many times do I see, especially new investors, trying to be someone or something that they're not, trying to copy someone or something that you're not. I mean, I really should like replace that image with Grant Cardone. You all know him, love him or not, but you can't be him. You can only be you. So be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. So whoever you are, that is the best person, the best being that you can be in this moment. So first, starting out, you need to build your brand. You need to build who you are. You need to be consistent with your message, and you need to be authentic. Just be honest with your track record. A lot of first-time investors, and even investors that have been doing this for a while, they're just like, well, I haven't done that much, or I don't have 1,100 units. Well, you know what? I don't have 11,000 units, but that doesn't stop me. When Jason and I first started, we were house flippers and wholesalers. But even before that, and Jason and I are actually owning this right now, we bartended. Yes, we had entrepreneurial like background and we had other things that we were doing, but for the most part, we were bartenders before we got into real estate. And I'm talking right before I got my real estate license back in 2013. I was a bartender. I managed restaurants. So be you. That's who people want to invest with. And this is just, party scene from New York City because I love New York. So be you. I want to celebrate you. I want to invest in you. I don't want to invest. And I've looked at his stuff. I'm not going to invest in Grant Cardone. I want to invest in you. I want to invest in the person that you are. So here's another story for you. And I'm going to go off on a lot of tangents today, so forgive me. So someone asked Jason, and I will leave his name out of this, if we would invest in their deal. And Jason said no. One of his partners came to me and asked me if I would invest in their deal, not knowing that one of the other partners already asked Jason. And I said yes, not even seeing the deal. I was like, I know the numbers have to work, but yes, I know you. I know who you are. I know your track record. And at that time, she didn't have much, but I connected with her because she had started building her brand. She had just started her podcast, but she was consistent with her message. She was consistently educating people. And I wanted to be a part of that. So I said yes. We dug into the numbers. It ended up being a good deal. We exited out of that deal this year. Our investors were really, really happy. So again, just be you. So here's a test. And you can do it now or you can do it later, but do it sometime this week. If an investor Googled you, what would that message be? Like seriously, Google yourself. See what comes up. Do your businesses come up? Or does like a college party circa 2010 come up? Like what comes up? You want to start getting Google to show the person that you want to show investors, who is you, but not necessarily the you that you were in college. The you that you want to be now, that professional that you are now, that well-spoken individual, that investor, that person who wants to help people. Show that. And the only way to do that is really digging in and putting it on social. You heard the guy say that they follow all we're doing on social, all the content we're putting out. And I just put out stuff that I like, stuff that I'm doing with my family, like funny little videos of me just being goofy, but that have like something that people can learn about. Like anything that's you, put it out there because it's gonna start to populate on Google. So would they feel certain that you would be an apt custodian for the money they spent time making? So that's definitely something you want to ask yourself. Would these people want to invest with you based on Google, based on what you've put out there? Because sometimes if they don't already know you, that's the first place they're going to check. They're going to check, they're going to Google you. They're going to start going into your Facebook. They're going to start going into your Instagram. They're going to start going into the places where they know that you're being social. So do you have a presence there? So, okay, so starting out, most conversations will be with family and friends. And I know this can be hard. And they can be, like, for instance, I've asked my dad every time we have a syndication, we've done 11 so far. And he says no to every single one of them. And I know why he does it, but I keep on asking because I know at some point that no is going to turn into a yes, or maybe not. But the thing is, keep on asking because you never know when the yes is going to come. In fact, my sister's here visiting us. She's 28. She's a professional. She's actually in social media. And she finally asked, she's like, Pili, I want to invest. And I was like, wait, what? Oh, and you know what? I never asked her. So there's people out there that I don't even ask, even though that's my mantra, ask everyone, talk to everyone. There's going to be people that are going to come out of the woodwork to you, but you have to put yourself out there. So with family and friends, there's less downside. They already know you, but they're going to be more critical with their questions. They're going to want to dig in. They're going to know your background. They're going to know all those things you did when you were 5 or when you were 6 or when you were 12 or in college. They're going to know you. And you're going to have to understand how to accept if they say no. Don't take it personally. It's not, although you might want to, just accept that no and move on. Accept that no and just understand that they're making that decision as an investor or whatever it is that's giving them the reason to say no. Just let it be. And remember, with every no, it's one step closer to a yes. And leave every conversation, and I mean every single one. Today, I actually want you to try this out if they know someone who this might be right for. So if you don't already have a mock deal, and I'll talk about this later probably, get yourself one and start talking about it. Start putting yourself out there. Start telling people that this is what I'm looking to do. Oh, you're not interested? Oh, that's fine. I understand. But do you know anybody else that might be interested? I would love to talk to them. I would love to get to know them. So, yay, letting go of imposter syndrome. I have this conversation all the time and it affects me too. So I know this picture doesn't make any sense. So what these images mean to me, and I can go into like the joke that's here, but I don't think I am, because I think you guys kind of get it. So no one wants to be overly enthusiastic, and no one wants to be that guy either, or do I, or don't I, or why do I think I have the authority to be here talking to you right now? Does Leonardo DiCaprio really know who I am? Am I really a badass? Wait, are you, are you looking at my ass? Maybe I should just end my presentation and pretend I had internet troubles. What if they laugh? What if I fail? Oh my God, did I just say ass on the internet? We all have a kabillion thoughts running through our head. You have to work on the conversation that's in your mind. I have to do this every single day. I have to tell myself that I'm a winner, that people want to invest in me, that all the information, all the background that I have, that I am more than enough. So I need you to understand that imposter syndrome does not exist, because you are a winner. If you need to, repeat that to yourself right now. I am a winner. You don't need to pretend to be that guy. You don't need to pretend to be Leonardo. You don't need to pretend to be Grant. You don't need to pretend to be Barbara Cochran, because you are a winner. Just who you are, you're here, so you're winning. You're learning how to do multifamily, so you're winning. You want to learn how to raise money without asking for it, so you're winning. So you know who you are and what you can provide. And if you need more, then go get it. There's so much education out there. You already heard from the gentleman. Chad and I and Jason, we provide education. If you want it, it's there. All you have to do is reach out for it. But you, it starts with you. You can start raising capital right now, because you are educated, you are inspired, and you are awesome, because you are a winner. Let me get this in your head, because I'm sort of on this trip right now. You need to come from the position of winning. You need to set your day up to win. Whatever it is, your goals, you need to set them up to win. And Jerry, I know you're smiling at me right now, because I'm going to point you out. And a lot of the conversations I'm having now, we create these amazing, magnificent, golden goals. But can we reach them? Can you actually reach them? I say yes, but you need to create these stepping stones called action steps to get to those goals, and make those action steps actionable, actually attainable, that you can bite into and take care of, so you can have that win, no matter how small it is or how big, every single day. So let's move on. Our investors, we've talked a lot about us and our needs and our wants, that we're winners, but it's not about us. It's about the investor. It's about the person that you're talking to. Our investors are the heroes, not us. Especially your first conversation with an investor. That first conversation is key. That first conversation is the conversations that I have on a regular basis. That first conversation is never about you. Primary focus gets back to the basic human needs of survival. They have a problem they need solved. They want us to see, hear, and understand them. So you need to be active listeners with those first conversations. I have investors scheduling calls with me all the time, and they try to turn the conversation into all the information. And you don't want to do that. You want to hear what they have to say. You need to express empathy to their needs, and then demonstrate your authority on how you can help them. I'm going to repeat that. You need to express empathy to their needs first. Their needs come first. Never mind what you're raising for. Never mind that goal that you have in the future. That connection, that relationships equal partnerships. So that relationship that you made or are making is that partnership that you'll have in the future. But unless you make that connection first, that partnership's not going to happen. In order to make that connection, you need to listen and you need to connect and then demonstrate authority on how you can help them. So again, remember, we aren't the heroes. Your investors are. So here we go. Yoda and Luke, your guide and your investor. I'm a Star Wars fan. So our investors face an issue. Luke, searching for something bigger. Find our guide, Yoda. Get a plan. Save the rebellion by learning how to use the Force. Call to action. Take down the Death Star. Helps avoid failure. Use the Force when all else fails. Find success. Save the rebellion. So here we have a really big goal. We have bite-sized steps. And so you are now Yoda. But now if Yoda had tried to get Luke to find his way to use the Force and shoot down the Death Star in the first 5 minutes of the movie, it would have ended badly. So if I have a conversation with an investor and I'm just like, oh, you know what? I have this amazing investment. You're going to make $1 billion on your money. And these are the things, 506B, 506C, da, 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 da. If you start pounding that information then from the first 5 minutes, they're not going to want to invest with you because they're going to be confused. So this is the long game. So our proven model for securing investors: educate yourself, which is what you're doing right now. So kudos to you. You've already clicked one off. Yay. Show and prove your brand. We talked about that. Put yourself out there. We can be here for another 2 hours. If you want to talk about branding and social media, that's for another day. Be clear on your message. What's your message? Mine is to live with aloha, to have life with aloha. Most of the time when you see my content, I always end with aloha. So what is it that you end with? Is it you want to be a blessing? I talked to one of our members, Marisol, the other day, and she was like, I just want to be a blessing to everyone. I was like, there you go. That's your message. I want to be a blessing. So be clear on your message. Understand your investors' needs. And then only after you do those 4 steps, help them understand the benefits of investing in multifamily. Those 4 steps first. That connection first. That ability to see what they need. Say they need a quick return on their money. You should know this. Multifamily is not going to be the way to go. Have them connect with a flipper you know, a wholesaler that you know. And then when they're ready, guess who they're going to come back to? You. Because they know you helped them out when they needed that quicker return on their money. And now they'll come to you when they want that long play. Provide a short investor presentation and have that mock deal. And in order to do the presentation, if you want, I don't know if I have it right now, but I do have that mock deal. And once you have that mock deal, just show it off. Tell people what you're doing. Provide that presentation to them. All this done before we actually had a deal in place. So we had this knowledge, all these steps done before we took down our first 94 unit back in early 2017. We did all this work before. We understood that the people that we were talking to, we needed to help them, not the other way around. So imagine again, Yoda is trying to teach Luke the Force while Luke is staring down the barrel of the Death Star. Not going to end well. When you help others, you achieve an awesome result. If you prime your investors and understand their needs and position them to be the heroes of their story, we are all the heroes of our own story. And when you enter an investor's life, you not only become a fiduciary for their money, but you become a guide for their goals. What do they want to do with that money? Understand their needs and position them to be the hero and gain commitment. You can now understand what type of building you can acquire and build your focus back from the money you need to raise. So as you understand and as you start to bring investors into your world, you can start to know what kind of building, based on the money I raised, the money I think I can get from my investors, what building can I get? And from there, you can shoot down that Death Star. Again, just a reminder, if you confuse, you lose. Someone asking for money. Day one, you're proving who you are. You're telling them why they should invest in multifamily, how returns work, a great deal, give me money. No, no, no. And this is all great. A lot of this is trying to educate your investors. And that's great for content, like putting out something that says why to invest in multifamily, or letting them know, hey, I used to be a bartender, but over all these years, this is the education I've amassed. This is the person I am. That's all content. But if you hit them with this at the conversation level, and I'm talking one-on-one conversation with the investor, you're going to confuse them. So don't do it. Your equation to being valuable and raising money: provide a benefit to others, plus, don't know why there's an X, maybe we'll just multiply it, plus a quality investment, plus having it handled effectively or efficiently. So even it starts with the connection and the relationship and being a benefit to others. But you still have to have that quality investment, of course. And you have to have a team to manage it efficiently. So how do you find these investors? And what qualifies an investor? Speak to everyone. I know I'm not the only one who said this, but it's been said that you need to hear the same thing 7 times. So if I have to say that 7 times right now, I'll do that. Speak to everyone, 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 speak to everyone. Speak to everyone, because you don't know who you'll find, who that next investor is going to be. Andrea, you might be my next investor. You might be my next partner. 5 years from now, you might have a $50 million deal that you need a partner on. And now we have an astounding relationship. And you ask me, I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't. John Brandon, same. Anyone on this call, I don't know what this call right now, this relationship that we're connecting and we are establishing right now, I don't know where it's going to go. So why should I judge who I'm going to talk to? I'm not. I'm going to talk to everyone and speak to what I do. And remember, when the focus is on the helping others, the judgment goes away. And by judgment, I mean you thinking you're not good enough, the imposter syndrome, the whatever it is that's holding you back from having these conversations. Stop. Because really what you're doing, I don't even think I put in my slides. Let's see if this, no, it's not even on this next slide. What you're doing is you're providing opportunity. You're not raising money. You're providing opportunity. So to go back to what I was talking to you about, no. No isn't always a no. It just might be a no today. A lot of times when I talk to other investors, they ask me how I do it. And a lot of their psyche is coming from, well, what if they say no? What if they say yes? You get to provide an opportunity to them. They get to work with you. So if they give you a no, maybe they aren't ready, or they need more info, or they've just had a setback in their life, or 20 other things that has nothing to do with you or your deal or their mustache. Jason had a mustache thing at one point, and I decided to put that in. I would warrant 50% of the time a no has nothing to do with the actual deal. The long game is more important than trying to close the deal right now. Imagine having 10 great investors who fund every deal. And we have a few of those. We have investors that are just like, call me when you have a deal. In fact, one of our best investors is a former mentor of mine, And I didn't tell him about our first deal. And when he asked me, why didn't you ask me? I actually felt really bad. I started crying. So I was just like, I'm an emotional person. You don't all have to cry when an investor asks you this. But because I realized that I stopped him because he could have made a lot of money in this deal. I prevented him from making money. I prevented him from taking care of his family. Just in that small way. Of course, I didn't prevent him in the large picture, but I could have helped him just by opening my mouth and telling him about what I do. So open your mouth, tell people what you do. So then when you actually have a deal, you have already done the legwork by making valuable contributions to others that you find personally meaningful, and the raise is already done. So all that I've talked about, you don't have to have a deal on your plate. You can start raising money now. In fact, this conversation, everyone that's here, you should be raising money from each other, even if you don't have a dime to your name, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Talk to each other, raise each other's consciousness, make those connections, and provide opportunity. In fact, I want you to take the raise money out of the equation, provide opportunity to people. Using this system is how Jason and I have been able to raise all the money needed for all the syndications at times in less than a day. And the only way, and I know you hear or see on the interwebs, I'm talking Facebook, Instagram, all the syndicators say, you know what, I put it out there and it was raised in 8 hours. That looks great, but it's because they did all the work that we just went over in this last, I don't know, how long have we been talking? In this last half an hour, 45 minutes. All that work takes months to start, even weeks. You could start today. But that's like the accumulation of their network, of creating something. And that's how they can say, oh, I did it in 8 hours. They didn't do it in 8 hours. They did it in 8 years. They just had the people in their list that they could just call up because of all the work that they did. So if you got nothing else from today, I mean, nothing else, just remember this. Lead with aloha. Winner you are. Thank you so much.
Oh, Pili, awesome job. I don't even know where to start. I'm going to try to, I guess, throw a few questions of my own that I have. So I love how you put out there how you had those steps of following. You must complete the 4 before you get to the next one. And one of the first ones was really putting yourself out there, right? Mm-hmm. Putting yourself out there, what you're doing. That way, when you do get to the point of potentially, introducing yourself to an investor, they actually can go and Google your name, right? And stuff should pop up, and all this stuff that you're putting out on social media, things that you're doing, multifamily, maybe rehabs on project, that'll come up and it'll get them to know you a little bit better. So that being said, I mean, is that kind of the structure of the way that you kind of can guide people as far as like trying to get themselves out there, so that way people can kind of back up and look at them and get a little bit of history on them?
So it just depends on where you are in your journey, right? So at this time in my journey, I have investors calling me, or I put myself out there on Instagram, on Clubhouse, on Facebook, and that allows people, you're giving people permission to contact you. And even if you don't have any multifamily experience, or very little, or all the experience, then just start there. They called you for a reason. They connected with you for a reason. Start with that. Start with how that connection was made. Like I'm going to tell you, it's not really a secret. So I do all the first conversations. Like, hardly anyone talks to Jason first, because I'm just like, I want to have those conversations. I want to make those connections with people. And then I bring in Jason.
Mhm.
Because I like that. I love connecting with people. I love making that connection and figuring out how I can help them, if I can help them. And chances are I can. Because chances are, if you have been in this world for a while, or know people, or sitting here in this amazing room, then you know someone that can help, that's someone that you're talking to. Like I said, like most typical thing that happens is that, you know what, Pili, I actually have, I only have like 15 that I feel comfortable in investing. What do you think I should do with that? Oh, you know what? You should call up my friend Chad King, who still has a flipping and wholesaling business. My friend Bill Allen, who still has a flipping and wholesaling business. My friend Becca Shea, my friend dot, 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 who can give you a quick return on your money. And I explained that before. But just figure out and have ways that you can help people. And again, make those connections. Did I answer your question?
I believe you did. Yes. And by the way, I did love the Star Wars analogy there in the link. Truly appreciate that.
I wish I had. We just got back from Disney World, and every day my children got to buy one toy. So one day my children bought all their toys, and then we walked by that place where you can actually make your own lightsaber. So my son was like, "Can I have a lightsaber?" I'm like, "You just bought your toy." You know what? Mommy's gonna make a lightsaber. I got a double purple lightsaber. It's pretty epic. Anywho, you didn't come here to talk about lightsabers.
Awesome. But anybody else? I do have maybe read off some questions from the chat, or if anybody wants to chime in, Jerry can unmute you and go ahead and ask any questions you may have.
I'm reading the chat.
Okay.
Let's see, Rowena, awesome. See, Rowena is taking my advice. She's putting herself out there. She says, Rowena Augustin here from True Purpose Capital. I love that name, by the way. Looking to provide opportunity. Have a deal, an amazing opportunity coming down the line. So simple. She doesn't have to say what deal. She just says, this is me. This is my company. I have an opportunity. Please reach out. So everyone, please reach out to Rowena. Hear what she has to say. Connect with her. The worst thing that could happen is that she doesn't connect with you, but you've made that connection. Now both of you can talk in the future. You never know what deal she's going to have. Maybe that's a deal that you want to partner up with, or be a limited partner, or somehow get on the GP. I don't know, but reach out. You're welcome, Rowena.
Get yourself out there. Exactly.
Do you set any personal goals on how many new people you'd like to have investing conversations with per week, per month? Jerry knows the answer to this. So in seven-figure multifamily, we are doing accountability groups, which I'm part of two of them. So as a leader, I wasn't expecting, because I do my goals. I have what I need to do on the daily basis, but one of our other members, Scotty Emsley, called me out. He was like, Pili, where's your goals? I was like, fine. I'm going to talk to 10 investors every week, and I'm going to raise $5 million. I've raised about 1.2, and we have 3 or 4 more weeks left. So I'm not quite there yet, but hey, because of a partnership, I consider everyone that is in seven-figure multifamily partners. Because of that partnership, he called me out, and I was able to raise 1.2. I have conversations all the time. Do I have 10 of them? Usually fluctuates anywhere between 5 and 15 a week. So having the 10 was like, okay, I'm going to set that goal. That goal, so the 10 calls a week was to get to the goal of 5 million. I might have to jump that number up for the next couple of weeks. So we're doing this based on a book called The 12-Week Year. If no one has read that book yet, please do. Basically takes your goal and chunks it into 12 weeks in which you take the one goal. And please, if you do this, make it simple for yourself. Take that one goal, set action steps to get to that one goal. I made it really easy to myself. I said 5 million, 10 phone calls. I'm at about 1.2 now, and I have 3 or 4 more weeks. So not bad. Could I do better? I think I'm going to pump it up to 15 calls this week. Let's see if I can do that. Jerry,
Wow.
hold me
Amazing.
accountable.
Really have one question for you. Like you mentioned, this is really a long-term game. You know, you're forging relationships with a lot of these people. And you want it to be a real win-win situation. And one of the questions I have is, let's say that you meet somebody, you know, you build that first initial touch with them. And this may not be the right time for them, but they are interested. How often would you follow up with someone? Because what I don't want to become, or, you know, my fear would becoming the guy who, you know, calls all the time, the multifamily nerd who's always calling and gets iced. I don't want to be the, you know, ice mark guy, basically going straight to voicemail guy. So how would I avoid that? Is it setting up, you know, on that initial call, or maybe follow-up calls? Hey, I'm going to reach out to you in 3 months, 6 months and see how you're doing, or how would you approach that?
You kind of answered your own question. Like if you need to put them on a CRM, we simply use Google Sheets, or I just use Google Sheets right now until they actually go into our investor portal. And a lot of people do, even though they don't invest, they'll go into our investor portal, which is InvestNext. And that actually keeps track of all the times we send out a newsletter. Anytime that I call them, I put a note. So if it looks like I'm calling them too much and they haven't invested yet, maybe I'll pull back. Or maybe I'll just send them an email saying, hey, how's it going? This is Pili. Just wanted to check on you. How's the kids doing? Your potted plants still alive? I actually have sent that email out. Just know who you're talking with and keep track and keep notes on people that you talk to and talk with, because it counts. Like knowing people counts. It might sound what's the word I'm looking for?
That's right.
Dry by keeping notes on people, but that just proves that you care. Like I have a memory for certain things. Like I can remember certain things about people, but I love having it written down that, oh, like for instance, our last deal, we sent everyone a potted plant. We sent everyone a bonsai tree, just because we thought they were cool. So that's a great conversation starter. Oh, by the way, how's your bonsai tree? And we have another deal in the works. Makes people laugh, makes people realize, oh yeah, that deal is going really good. Oh, they have another deal in the works. So yes, there can be like too many touches if you're just calling them all the time. But there's a kabillion people in this world. You can call someone else, but keep track of who you're calling and when you're calling them. And the thing is, you have this amazing meetup. So chances are, just put them on into your network and make sure they're getting your emails. I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Perfect.
On that topic, I know for us, what's helped us out immensely in order to kind of remember all these conversations, because it's literally, for me anyways, it's impossible to kind of remember all the conversations that you're having with brokers, with investors, with property managers, for example, and try to, so we put a CRM. So what CRM is a customer relations management tool. And there's a lot of free ones out there. If you guys have any questions on any of the ones that I use or ones we use, reach out to any one of us. We can definitely provide you a source for that. But Google Sheets is also an amazing tool for starting out in order to kind of keep tabs on initial conversations, names, and things like that.
So I have a question. Pili, we know obviously amazing mom, you got the 3 kids. All of us here, many, whether we're busy, if it's have a W-2 or family, how do you help to organize yourself, to make these calls, to reach out to people, to remember, what it is that they're interested in and what they want to invest in, things like that?
Time blocking. I live my life by my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't happen. So as soon as I knew this was happening, either I ask people, you know what, this is my email, and I want you to get into this habit, everyone. If somebody asks you to be somewhere or to do something with them, and maybe you're a little bit on the forgetful side, or you just have a lot going on, tell them this. Here's my email. Could you send me a calendar link? Practice that. Here's my email. Could you send me a calendar link? If somebody wants to be like, if somebody wants you to be there, tell them that, because at least for me, if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. So my day is actually blocked into sections. I have my aloha time. I wasn't kidding when I said I start my day off with aloha. I look on my calendar and I see aloha. I'm just like, okay, mindset. This is mindset. This is exercise. This is everything. I get it done in the morning because, especially my parents, but I do believe time is relative. So whether or not you have kids or not, you're busy. It's just a fact of life. You fill your time with something. You need to make that time for yourself, get that set then it's done. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to feel guilty that you didn't go to the gym or whatever it is you want to do, Aikido, whatever. Make sure you do it as early as possible, get it done, get your day set. For me as a mom, I need to do this before my kiddos wake up, or it just doesn't happen. My day just kind of takes over, and by the end of the day, I just feel drained because I didn't set myself up correctly. Then after that, I have kiddo time, and then after that, I have work time. I have One Thing time too. Another great book, if you haven't read it, The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. The one thing is basically, say it in a few words, it's one thing. You pick one thing, get done in that day. So if my one thing is to make is to make 3 phone calls, or maybe the whole 10, I don't know, then I will get that done. Because again, going back to what I was saying in my presentation, set yourself up to win for the day. Losses are going to come, and I also believe losses and fails, they don't need to be bad things. We're conditioned to believe that our failures are bad. They're only bad and they're only actual failures if you just sit in them and let it kind of fester. But if you use those failures and those losses as stepping stones, they become an automatic win. If you learn from them, they become that automatic win. So that's what I do with my day. Time blocking, me time, kid time, work time, kid time, me time. And in those me times, there's also like Jason and Pili time. But it's basically blocked like that. That's my entire day. And then people just like insert themselves into my day. Another great, and I'll actually put this in here, another great system to use is Calendly. If you don't have a calendar, calendly.com. If you don't have a calendar link, I suggest you get one. Even if you don't think you're important enough or you're busy enough, it'll save you a lot of heartache. Do you know how much time you probably waste being like, oh, are you available between 5 and 9 Tuesday night? Oh no, I'm only available between 5 and 9 Tuesday morning. Okay, well, how about imagine if you could just give somebody your calendar. They can book themselves into your calendar. It has saved me so much time. Untold amount of time. Hope that answered your question.
Yeah, definitely people look up Calendly if you're as busy as myself or Pili. It definitely saves you a ton of time on that. I know we use it a lot. Pili, I know we had you on for an hour now, and I definitely do not want to overextend your time and the kids' time. But if anybody has any last minute questions, please tuck them in.
One quick question.
Go ahead.
This is GP from Atlanta. So I'm kind of new to this multifamily whole thing. I have some single family things going on in Atlanta. So I was just wondering, like, how do I get started with my full-time job, and is it really worth doing a deep dive into this multifamily thing? Maybe, just a newbie question,
That's a great question, and one I get a lot. How do you dive into it? Is it worth diving into, and how do you get started? I'm going to give a give my version of the answer, and then I would love to hear from the gentleman here because we all got started a certain way. So I started flipping and wholesaling, got into multifamily because I saw that it was the next level. I wanted that long-term hold, that long-term money. And above all, with multifamily, I get to help more people. I get to help more investors. I get to help more tenants. I get to help more people live in cleaner, safer places. So for you, again, it comes back to the connection, right? So we just met. I'm not sure about your background. I'm not sure about your financial needs. I'm not sure about a lot of things. But learning how to do multifamily, you'll start to know that you need to make that connection with someone like yourself to really answer that question, because you're basically asking me, what should I do with my money, Pili? That's what it all is, right? Like if you get into multifamily, you're going to either be spending money on an investment, or you're going to be spending money on a mentorship program, or you're going to be doing a combination of both to really learn. So you're asking me what to do with your money. And right now, like if I was completely honest, like I could tell you, yeah, multifamily is great. It's the best thing, yada, yada, yada. Look at all the content, bright, shiny object. But what I'm going to tell you, because based on what I was just talking about, is I actually don't know. I don't know if it's right for you. It might not be, right? This might not be the right avenue for you. Do I want it to be the right avenue for you? Yeah, I love multifamily. It's been great to me. But unless I know like where you are financially, where you are in life, like what kind of investing experience do you have? You mentioned Atlanta, great market, really hot. What are you doing there? Are you a GP on the deal? Are you an LP on the deal? Did you just find a deal? If you did, please talk to any of the people I know that are in Atlanta. They'd love to underwrite that with you, including my assistant, Alessandra. So it really just kind of depends on who you are. Is multifamily, I'm going to actually like turn this back around on you. From all the research that you've done, do you feel that multifamily is the next step for you?
Yeah, based on my experience, I have a duplex in Atlanta. I spent like 100K on repairing those septic repairs and electrical repairs and all those different things there. And I was really tired with that single duplex itself. I don't know when I go to bigger multifamily, how many septic repairs I have to do and all these challenges. I'm little afraid and because hardly I'm making cash flow with the duplex itself. I don't know for bigger units how much I can make.
Okay, so I actually want, because I see Gonzalo, Mark, Garrett, and Jerry smiling because they know the answer to this. And it has to do with a duplex and only you working on it versus a multifamily and having a team to support you. So gentlemen, if any of you want to jump in on this, please do.
Happy to weigh in. Praveen, I think was your name. I'm sorry if I'm botching that. But I was in that.
Praveen, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. So myself and my partner, who's also up here, Gonzalo, we were in your very same shoes just a few years back. And one of the reasons why we turned to multifamily was because of the fact that we saw kind of the writing on the wall that if we wanted to get where we were going with multifamily, particularly in duplex, triplex, that kind of thing, it was going to take a lot longer and be a lot more brain damage, I guess is a good way to put it, to get there. And so, as Pili mentioned, one of the benefits of larger multifamily is that you can outsource a lot of the stuff that, frankly, I didn't feel like we were all that great at. So, if you're looking at your ultimate customer is the resident, is the tenant there, do I think I'm better at managing properties or a professional person who does this day in and day out? And so that's kind of the conclusion that we came to is let's take ourselves out of this equation and focus on the aspects of investing that we really enjoy. And so that's kind of the conclusion we arrived at.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. But, I saw some of the mentors charging 50,000, 100,000 for this education. I don't know if that is right thing to do. I cannot afford 50K to 100K for education,
So I can answer that. It just kind of depends on again, comes back to connections, right?
Yes.
So do you connect with that mentor? Can you actually talk with them, like get on a phone call with them? Can you understand who they are, where they come from, maybe where that 100, that 50 is going, that they want you to pay them? Like, do they have an entire crew that's working with them? What does their program
Yeah,
look like? Who are their students? Are you able to do that type of research?
yeah. My experience, mentors are good until you sign up. Once you sign up, you won't, you cannot reach them. They'll put some people under them and they don't know nothing. It's a big challenge. One of my friend lost 50,000 just like that.
And I understand that. That's why I give away so much of the information that I know for free.
Right.
That's why I put out so much content, because if you really wanted to, you could
Right.
do it without a mentor. And I'm gonna be completely honest. I am one of the owners and founders of 7-Figure Multifamily. That's a mentorship program. Jerry's a part of it. And I do believe some of the other gentlemen here are going to be joining us shortly. So completely honest, I do have a mentorship program. But the thing is, you can connect directly with me. Jerry has my cell phone number. Most of our members have my cell phone number. They know they can use it if they absolutely need it. And some of them have. It just,
Right.
again,
That makes sense.
yeah, exactly. If you're going to pay a good amount of money, you
Right.
want to connect with your mentor. You want
Yeah.
to know that you can talk to them. You want to know their background. You want to talk to their former students. So I'm sorry for your friend that lost that money.
Right.
But with anything, with any investment, because going into a mentorship program, that's an investment in yourself, right? So you need to do the due diligence. You need to do your own research on that investment. So I am, and so 7-Figure Multifamily and Chad, who was on this call earlier, I am an investment. So as you invest that money in me, I invest my time and my knowledge in you. Because like I've told Jerry and I've told all of our members, you become a partner. I don't know, Praveen, if this conversation that me and you are having, maybe 6 months from now, 6 years from now, 60 years from now, who knows? This conversation turns into a partnership. Maybe I have a deal, maybe you have a deal, maybe somehow this turns into something. I don't know. I don't
Right.
know what's going to happen from this call right now. Something's going to happen. I just don't know what. So it's up to you to do your own research and then put yourself out there. Sure, you might have a failure, just like your friend failed or the mentorship program failed him. I don't know actually what happened, but
Right.
now he can use that as a stepping stone. Now he's really going to do his research next time he steps into a program. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great input, guys, and definitely, Praveen, do your research. Reach out to people like Pili, join these meetup groups, and just connect and network with people. That's the way that we've been doing it the last few years. Any more questions? I'm gonna, Pili, let you go, and we're gonna break out into breakout rooms. And I think Jerry, you're gonna be setting that up. Pili, thanks again.
You're
Hope to see you
welcome.
again soon.
And if anyone here wants to have that money raising opportunity providing conversation, I invite you to call any of these gentlemen first. Call them up, see what they have to offer, call them. If you want to get a hold of me, you know how. I'm there all over the place. I'm the only Pili Yarusi you'll see on the internet, I think.